Welcome back to KSP at ASTRA. Today we've got a Mooner Power Production, and we're launching 3 rockets today, and we are landing a big giant solar panel thing. Yeah, but we're going to start off with Aurora Station. This is being launched on a Phoenix 1, and it is off to a polar orbit around Kerbin. And this is basically to, well, just to be a polar satellite that rotates around Kerbin. I thought it'd be cool to have Kerbal Station in a polar orbit and in a regular orbit. This is just going to be the first station since Pioneer that has been placed into an orbit. But here we are. As you can see, the upper stage is currently re-entering, while this stage is currently continuing on its burn. Here it is. The second stage, or the first stage, is about to do its landing burn. And here we go. It starts up out of all 3 of the center engines, and it lands on some rocky grass. So I tried to take control, tried to do stuff with it. But those aero brakes are so strong, and I forgot to put them down, and it just caused all sorts of problems, and we ended up losing the vehicle. But here we are with the second stage and the cupola and the main portion of the station. I just labeled it station right here, but I later on changed it to Aurora Station, as it will be known. And basically, it's just going to be a station in low Kerbin orbit going in the polar directions. Just an easy, kind of difficult thing to... You have to launch at sunrise or sunset, and then from there you have to kind of choose when you need to launch. I just thought it was a cool idea to have one in a polar orbit. Just watch the auroras and things like that. It was actually one of the... It's named after the Greek goddess of this of the sky, basically, and that's what the Aurora Borealis and the one in the south, I forget what the Aurora Antarcticus or what, I don't know. But here we are. If you could like, share, comment, subscribe, or anything like that, that would be very much appreciated, and maybe even hit that bell. But here we are. We have SRM1, which stands for Space Resupply Mission, and it is the first one of many, I presume. And this one will be launched in a polar orbit and basically get to our space station, our new space station, and it will bring lots of life support so that we can basically send our Kerbals to it. They can dock to the station. They won't die or go home like those Kerbals were earlier. This is just to have a large store of life support on board, and there will be a life support system that will be installed later on. But here we are. We are currently circularizing. I accidentally forgot to land the booster, which is a little bit of an oopsie. I could have done it, but I saw this maneuver node right here, almost perfect, and then I was like, oh, and I just got excited, and I completely forgot to land the booster, which, you wouldn't see SpaceX doing that at all. But, yeah, that's, I did that, and we lost the booster because of it, but it's fine, I guess. I have more than enough funds, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I have a whole lot of funds left. I do know that I have some, but just not enough. But here we are coming in on Aurora Station. We're actually going really quickly. This uses up almost all of our fuel to reach our encounter here. We end up overshooting it just a little. And here we are, we're just firing towards it with these little monopropellant engines, which will help us deorbit and help us, encounter the spacecraft. We're now about 400 meters away, Had to make sure I was getting the correct docking port. And we will be on our way to the station. Here we go. We are currently basically doing our standard docking maneuvers. Basically, you want to kind of get yourself aligned with the port. I'm not going to do very much of the Matt Lown style docking in this series. I did a lot of it when I was doing KSP2 because they didn't have a docking indicator like this, or a docking mode, which just really bothers me because I don't use the HJIK keys, whatever those ones are. I don't use those. I use the ASDF or WASD keys, and then the Q and R, the Q and E for roll. I'm not doing the HJ whatever keys. I like the docking mode. The fact that they didn't have a docking mode was just ridiculous. But here we are. We have encountered, it was a little bit off, so I undocked and then like rotated it, or you'll see it right here. I basically undocked, rotated, and then redocked myself to the station here. And there we go. That is basically absolutely perfect. I made sure to get it in the correct orbit, and then yeah, I switched over to this and had it deorbited as soon as possible. And I wanted to get it as close to the KSC as possible because that is the best way to get as much funds as possible from your recoveries. So if you land on the land at the KSC, it's almost 100%. If you land on the runway or you land on the pad, it's like 100%. Anywhere outside of that, it's like 99, which is just great because the parts are expensive and it's awesome. We'll eventually have a rocket that can do basically SSTO 100 tons easy. But yeah, here I am. I deployed the parachutes. This thing needs parachutes. Its engine isn't strong enough. It actually is strong enough once the parachutes are involved, but here we are, just kind of lighting it up, slowing it down, and then recovering it. And here we are. We have Hermes 2, which is also on a Phoenix 1. This one will be recovered. Don't worry. And this is just launching in a normal orbit. It is basically going to be doing the exact same thing as the other Hermes, which you can see the other Hermes right there on the left up at the alarm clocks. The other Hermes is basically becoming part of like a deep space network, while we have kind of weaker satellites and stuff like that. And it'll eventually allow us to have constant communication throughout the solar system, which is very important. Here I am trying to get it to go back to the KSC, but I decided that that was kind of flawed. But here we are. We are currently coming in for a landing. We are going to go for a full-blown water landing. And boom, there we are. Perfect. And here's the second stage, about to send this thing off into deep space. We're actually going to be sending it out into deep space on the second stage, and then we're going to turn the second stage around and we're going to fly back, which is just kind of crazy. Here we are. We're going to flip it around. We're going to just boost as much as we can so that we can get the best possible landing spot. I wanted to try to go for the KSC, but I realized that we're probably not going to be able to get the KSC. So I pretty much tried to abort that. But then I was like, what if we went to this little place called the Cove, just a little bit north? It just says this on the map. I didn't know what it was. It says Cove. I wondered if there's some sort of Easter egg there. Then I realized that there is an Easter egg there, but I don't have the Breaking Ground DLC, so I don't get to see the Cove launch site, which is a bummer because that would have been cool to land there. But I don't get that because I don't have any of the DLCs, which I am thinking that I should probably get, because there isn't going to be a KSP2, so I should probably just get the DLCs. But yeah, our rocket burned up and only our control survived, and that was just bad. And then here's the Liberty solar plant. I launched it on a Phoenix 1. I forgot to record the launch, but when I landed the rocket, I realized that I hadn't started recording the launch, and that I had the second stage in orbit already going. So yeah, it's already on its way to the moon, basically. but this is going to be the power plant for Liberty Base, which is going to be on the surface. It has a bunch of connector tools, but as we know, our Kerbals that were on Liberty Base have just fled. They've just gone away. So there's the whole issue of, well, there's no Kerbals there to actually do the attachments to the base. So we're going to actually have to send another crew, and that's fine because we have a crew thing to Liberty Station pretty soon, about 100 days or so. All of this was done over the course of like 4 or 5 days in game because I just sent things really quickly. They just all went there. So here we are. We are going to slow down our trajectory. We're going to get into a circular orbit, and then we are going to land at the base. I tried to do the auto landing thing, but it was having issues. It wanted to land on the other side of the planet for some reason, which is not good. So I had to end up aborting that, but you won't see that yet. So I ditched that stage so that we could go on a better trajectory. I was thinking maybe there's a way I can get that other stage to end up orbiting, but then I remembered that it's kind of stuck there. I don't have enough power to actually get it back. So maybe a recovery mission in the future. I don't know. I do need to start putting or at least on a next version of it, either larger batteries or some sort of power supply system. Maybe once we get RTGs and stuff like that, we'll start doing stuff like that. But here we are. I'm basically manually choosing a location, and we are going to come in. As you can see, it has some massive solar panels, and they're angled sideways because when you're at the poles, the sun's only gonna ever be to your side. So if the sun's only ever gonna be to the side, we better have our solar panels sideways, which is probably the best way to do it. It has other panels that can rotate, but those are just going to be on the ground. They're lower down. They were for when we were in orbit. They're still going to be on. They're still going to be producing power, just not as much as these giant ones that can be angled directly at the sun. Now we are going to be landing in the 2-week lunar night, or it's 2 weeks on Earth, but I don't know how long it is on the month. But we are going to be landing in the lunar night, or the mooner night. And so, yeah, see, there's our Kerbals just ditching the station and somehow getting back to the KSC, because there is nothing down here that'll get them there. I have to change the settings so that they die, which will be unfortunate if it happens, but it shouldn't happen again. I have actually since changed the settings in game, but now I know what's going on. But here we are. I'm trying to hover over so we can be a lot closer, so that there's not really very many issues. But I was having trouble kind of landing it without having it kind of fall over. But yeah, there we go. It's in the rocks, and I'm currently trying to keep it stable. And yeah, that is it. We have landed on the Mun with our new power production station. It is now a lunar day, and that is all I have time for today, folks. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time.